Welcome, everybody, to the 5-day Biopharma Job Challenge. It's great to have everybody here. This is an exciting time for us. So I'm Frank Dolan. I'm the founder and CEO of Arsenal. We want to connect people and the ideas that shape the best practices around the life sciences industry. We've got medicinethemarket.com, which is our media site to help control and influence the conversation happening across biotech, pharma, and life sciences. We share interesting insights and simplify information for the life science industry through BioData Studio. But most importantly, frankly, to me, is we're trying to create a community of over 300,000 life science executives across the globe who participated in our events, whether they're in real life or live streams like this. So it's great to have everybody here. Thank you for joining. So what are we going to do? Well, for 5 days, what we're going to do is 30 minutes once a day, right about this time, 12 o'clock Eastern. We're going to have a 30-minute sprint and talk about some of the biggest challenges that are going on in looking for and securing that great biopharma position. So whether it's biotech, pharma, biopharma, if you like to carve that out, the life sciences in general, the stakes are high and it's a challenging market right now. Whether you're a passive job searcher or if you're actively looking for something, let's face it, it's not easy in this particular environment. This industry has all of the classic elements of high demand. You've got roles that, let's face it, they pay well. Okay, so in the life sciences and biotech, biopharma, especially in the US, if we just use those numbers, you're talking about annually 6-figure positions. These are specialized. These jobs are designed to create a business outcome that's profound and real. There's a higher calling for many that we're doing things to help improve and extend patients' lives. So with high value and scarcity, you have high demand. You take and add to that some of the challenges that exist in the broader marketplace with uncertainty and business changes. Well, if you're looking for a role even passively, sometimes it feels like that phone isn't ringing very often. So what we need to talk about is how do we fix that stuff? And the best way to do that is to create a system. But any good system, as we all know, it requires a plan. It requires process. And it requires resources. And we're going to put all those together over the next few days. It's going to be a lot of fun. So 30-minute sprints, 12 to 12:30 Eastern, if you're following that time schedule. And then from 12:30 to 1 o'clock Eastern, we're going to have an Ask Me Anything. So if you're in the event platform, you'll be able to move over to the breakout. If you want to get on screen and ask your question, go ahead. You can do that. We'll have a virtual meeting room. It'll be through Google Meet. If you just want to watch it, you can watch the live stream as well. It's completely up to you. What's very important here is that for those of us that are joining from LinkedIn, today's the only day we're going to broadcast the session on LinkedIn. So what I need you to do is I need you to make your way over to challenge.medicineToMarket.com. Okay, so that's where you're going to be able to register for the event. You're going to be able to get access to all of the tools that we have. You'll see it scrolling across the bottom. So challenge.medicineToMarket.com. It's going to put you into our event platform. Like seriously, 15 seconds and it's free. Like just do it. Just get it done. You just log in and you're going to get access to the tools and the resources as we put this whole thing together. It's going to be it's going to be really, really fun. So what's going to happen? We need to think about what we're up against right now. If you are a passive or active job seeker, as I was saying before, look, there's like several emotions that you may have when it comes to this particular market in this particular industry. Let's think about those emotions. Well, the first one I think of is exhausted. Okay, trying to chase, finding, and being the first to apply for these really, really great positions. It feels like a never-ending task. If you want to scroll through LinkedIn jobs, knock yourself out. Take a look at 150 listings before you find 5 that are actually relevant to you. No offense, but anyone can post there, and there's just a lot that you need to sift through if you're a really serious professional. Which brings me to the second emotion that I feel that a lot of us have, and Lord knows I felt it, myself. 22 years in pharma, I actually got laid off 7 years ago, and decided to go ahead and look for positions. And while I competed for jobs and I got some offers, I found that there were a few lessons along the way. And since we started Arsenal, and did everything that we've done with Medicine to Market, Biodata Studio, our events, all of that good stuff, shaping and sharing best practices to try to lift the entire industry. We've had a couple conversations about what people are going through. And that second emotion that I see a lot of people going through, especially lately, is feeling frustrated by that black hole that is the application process. Like, where did this go? Did anyone see what's going on? I think I'm qualified for this job, but I didn't hear back from anybody, which can often lead you to that third emotion, which is quite simply frustration. You ever feel frustration when it comes to this, whether you're active or you're passive? You find the right role, you try to apply in the right way, customize everything, but then you get ghosted at any of the 12 different increments of the interview process. That's frustrating, getting ghosted. It's like, what is going on here? And I think the fourth emotion that's the most important is feeling disappointed that things didn't come together, especially when you feel you're a qualified candidate and you didn't get the job, but you didn't get a chance at the job. And that's really, really frustrating. We don't want you to feel that way. So you need a system. We're going to help you share a system. We've had best practices at hundreds of locations over the years, tons of online sessions. We've had thousands of people go through our meetings in the past when we've had summits like our Transformation Summit that happens once a year at the Half Moon Bay Ritz-Carlton, which is fantastic. We've done events at Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, U Chicago. Lots of fun having people on site, having great conversations with people, having discussion boards with thought leaders across biopharma, and the live stream stuff. We've touched over 300,000 people, connecting and serving life science executives with opportunities and best practices. We've gotten some feedback, and let me tell you, I don't want you to ever feel those four emotions. I want to take all the secrets that we've accumulated with this incredible community and share them with you. So we'll share them over the next few days. If you're not on our event link, make sure you do it. challenge.medicine2market.com. Okay, so we know the stakes are high. We know it can be challenging. We want to compete for things. So let's get to work and talk about what we can do to overcome this. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today are basically the traps and the tools that are involved in this process if you're getting yourself into some sort of search at a great biopharma company. Okay, so first of all, let me just say that in the US alone, there are about 2,000 biopharma companies, biotech, pharma, biopharma, life sciences that kind of fit that umbrella, that have the different departments and roles that most of our community is interested in. But the truth is that there's only about 200 of them that many people would seriously consider. Now, if there was an opportunistic thing that came up with some of these other companies, they're smaller, they're pre-commercial, they're seed stage, they just got funded, they're building something exciting, we love to hear about those. That's great. But we find that a majority of people will focus on like the top 200 companies. So how do you break through and be effective and find out about those roles and get in and do some great things? And it can get very, very frustrating. But I want you to think about that. It's a small industry. Well, we can talk about 2,000 companies. If anyone at first thinks that's a big number, think about the rest of the world. It's a huge world. Lots of industries, lots of companies. But just in this sector alone, it's a small world. So networking makes a lot of sense. Being aware of these companies and tracking them can be challenging. There's certainly enough to create quite a workflow where your full-time job is trying to get another full-time job. And we're going to talk about tips and tricks to overcome that and make that stuff easier. But we know that there's a certain focus. So we have to present the right way to the right companies because it is a small industry. It's very insular. Like I said before, the reason why I started this company and started Medicine to Market and Biodata Studio and all that is that I wanted to democratize best practices. I wanted to get people access to more great ideas. And we're going to share that with that system and process that we do today. So as you think about your job search and you think about optimizing to go after these particular opportunities, you got to be careful of the traps. Going back to the demand situation where you've got something that's very, very high value, but you also have scarcity. That is the biopharma job landscape. And that certainly is a challenge that we need to overcome with our systems, our plan, our process, and our resources. And so as we drop those every single day that you join us, Good for you for joining us. There's lots of free tools and fun stuff along the way. We need to think about some of the traps that we fall into. And I'll tell you, one of the first traps that is bothering me quite a bit that I want to talk to you about is this trap that I'll make it easy for you to remember. Pay to apply, big lie. Pay to apply, big lie. If you come across, or your colleagues that are looking for a biopharma job come across some sort of deal, some sort of offer where an organization gets in the middle between the candidate and the company, and they say, if you give us money, we will unlock jobs that are not normally listed anywhere, and we will apply for you. Now, this is not to be confused with some of the amazing professionals that are out there that write resumes, coach you on the job process. That's a transaction that's different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about organizations that say the only way for you to apply to this job, is to pay them, and then they'll take care of that for you and help apply to that company. Scam. Pay to apply, big lie. If you want to pay for premium job boards, knock yourself out. Tons of value in that can make your life very, very easy. If you want to pay for people to help coach you on interviewing, your resume, how to apply, how to use keywords, how to get past the applicant tracking system, take a look. Be careful, but take a look. Like any transaction, just be careful. But that could be valuable. But pay to apply, big lie. Stay away from that. It's trap number one. I'm seeing more and more of that. Once again, high demand, lots of value, scarcity. All of a sudden, you've got these interesting actors that are trying to show up in our space and take over. Watch out. So that is the first one. The second trap you got to watch out for, and this one's crazy, is the attack of the bots. Okay. If you know me, you know I love tech. I love technology, software, data stuff, all that stuff. And it helps me lead more effectively. And it gives me insight, it gives me effectiveness, it gives me efficiency. I love that stuff. Love it. But there are these companies that are jumping out. And I want to make sure that we're remembering, you and I, we're talking about biopharma. We're talking about life sciences right now. We're not talking about construction. We're not talking about engineering. We're talking about this biopharma life sciences thing, small industry, right? There are companies that have a whiz-bang idea that at first sounds great. If you go into their program, you dial in your resume, you talk about what jobs you want, what roles, what companies, whatever the criteria. Their bots, their AI, will go out there and find the jobs for you. It'll go through that crazy, frustrating little process of getting the application filled out for you just right and re-optimize your resume to apply for that job. If that sounds great to you, be careful of falling into the trap, okay? If you're an HR person at one of these pharma companies, whether it's the 2,000 in the market, if we're talking about the US, or the 200 that people are really optimizing for, what are you thinking about when a candidate who, to some degree of reason, might be qualified for like 15, 25 jobs in a given time period, and they have all these different versions of their application in there? Do you think that they see that candidate as 15 different people? Or do you think that their system has logged that person in as one candidate, one name, that one contact email that you've been using? Maybe you've got two, maybe you got a Gmail and an iCloud that you're using for different campaigns, but still, like, you're not going to be 15 different candidates. If these bots are applying, what does that HR person think of that individual that's applying for all of these different jobs with all of these different variations over and over and over again? If that doesn't bother you, if you take it personally and just think about yourself as a candidate, I want you to think wider. Think of all of the people that company with the AI bot that can apply to everybody is selling to. Because if that company just signs up you and me, they're never going to be successful. But if they sign up 5,000 of us, they could do pretty well. Can you imagine the quantity of inauthentic crap resumes and applications that are coming their way? That's a huge quantity problem. You don't want to be a part of that. If you are optimizing for certain companies, you've got a dream list that you're going after, you're going to take it seriously, and you're going to want to make sure that you have optimized for the value and the prestige and the accuracy needed in that position. If you got it, is appropriately represented for you when you apply to that role. So the second trap is attack of the bots. Watch out for the bots. Using bots to have you auto apply for all of those jobs. In my opinion, it's not only not going to be effective for you, it could put you in a really bad place permanently with that employer, because their system will recognize you. They'll see this foolishness going on at scale. So who knows what they'll do to tag your profile. But even worse, just imagine what the world looks like for these great colleagues of ours in HR and talent acquisition, who are now fielding, instead of 100 qualified people for that job they're in the market right now, actively or passively, they're now getting 10,000. That's going to be really, really hard. So if we want to break through those things, we need to do things in a very authentic way, very, very effective. Use technology to help you. Don't get me wrong. But signing up for services at $49 a month to help you auto apply for hundreds of pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies, whatever it may be, I just think you got to be really, really careful. When you see that stuff at scale, when you're on the receiving end of that as an employer, which is where I spent over 20 years of my career across 7 different biotech companies, I got to tell you, I don't think that's a winning way. So watch out for those traps. Okay, but what about tools? Let's talk about tools here in the few minutes that we have left. Use tools to your advantage. Okay, so we're going to talk more about finding a job on Tuesday. So we're going to talk about some tools, some tricks, some frameworks when it comes to all that. So tomorrow's really exciting. We're going to go deep on that. But tools that you have at your disposal are, when you've got your plan together on what companies you really, really want to go after, using things like Google Alerts. You can use job directories that curate things. So we have jobs.medicineandmarket.com, which is our job search engine. Now it's curated. We only have about 130 companies that we're tracking and putting their jobs in there right now. And we keep them relatively recent. So some days you'll see that there's only 200 job postings. On other days, you may see that there's 1,800 different job postings in there. It's curated. We're trying to get away from the inefficiency that exists elsewhere and to make things more productive for you. So we're curating the companies that we think are really great. They've got great opportunities, and we try to have them featured there. But you don't have to pay to apply by using our search engine. But if you find more tools like that, that could be very, very helpful to you and possibly give you some competitive advantage, which is what you want. So using Google Alerts, using the job alerts on the websites could be very effective for you to help you identify when those things happen. But then when they come up, you want to track them. And that's where tomorrow we're going to show you our worksheet that you'll have access to. And once again, if you're on LinkedIn, I'm telling you, go over to challenge.medicineandmarket.com, sign up to be on our event platform, and you'll be able to access those tools. So the other tools that you can use are AI to help you. And I think that using AI is important. A lot of people are talking about AI. We have for the last couple of years. And the truth of the matter is that while AI probably won't replace all of the jobs that the press makes it out to sound like, there is going to be AI in your job description at some point, whether it's in your current job now or the one that you want in the future. So having an AI competency is going to be important. So I would encourage you to continue to use that now. You can use a lot of different free AI tools. You can use prompts, optimize them, tell them what's going on, give them context, give them examples. But a way to use those things are to say, hey, look, here's my public LinkedIn profile. Look at it. here's the job description of something I'd like to apply for. What do you think are the top 3 strengths and weaknesses my candidates represents in competing for that job? And it'll give you feedback on that. And you may consider maybe making some tweaks to the LinkedIn profile, maybe making some changes to your resume before you send it in. It may help you think of what would be 10 examples that the interviewer may be looking for to demonstrate these 5 skill sets in the qualifications portion of the job description. Wow, talk about great help to get you ready to interview. That's awesome. And for those that are in the challenge with us here on the platform, take a look in your email. So the email that you use to register at challenge.medicinemarket.com is going to be the email that we are going to send you an access link. So we have a tool called Jobs AI. So it's jobsai at medicinemarket.com. You can get a free trial if you want to, but the people who are involved in the 5-day challenge, we're going to give you 50 credits to use that tool to help you with the progress we're going to make over the next few days. So every single day, we're going to be using different tools. There's lots of them in there. You're going to see some company report drops on Thursday, which are going to be really, really cool. Those are worth thousands of dollars. You're going to get them for free. We're going to give that tool to you. That will help you get through the challenge as we progress through the next few days. So look in spam, do the things. You know what to do. So take a look. We're sending everybody emails today to get access to the platform. Go on there. Take a look around. Try to break it. Ask it questions. It'll help you find, assess, and then do things to prepare to compete for different roles. So you can make changes to your resume. You can do mock interviewing. And there's some really neat stuff that's about to come up very, very soon. The upgrades and the roadmap is super cool. And by the way, they were purpose built after talking to literally thousands of people as an interviewer, literally talking to dozens of people as a candidate, for me in my past, in my career in biopharma, but more importantly, getting feedback from tens of thousands of people over the last 7 years that are part of the bigger community here. We've got some incredible tips and tricks for you that we're going to share with you. And that's helped us develop this tool. It's completely purpose built for what we are doing. Okay, so what's next? So in a few minutes, we're going to have our Ask Me Anything. So it's like office hours. So the next half an hour, we're going to jump over on the event platform to that breakout. If you want to just watch it and see the questions that are asked, and I respond to it, you please do. If you want to ask a question through the platform, it'll send them to me. I'll try to address as many of those questions as possible. And if you want to get on screen with me, you can do that as well. In that case, you're going to use the Google Meet, not the live stream, to kind of jump in there and we can have a discussion about that. So we'll do that after every session for the next few days. So 30-minute sprints, 30-minute Ask Me Anything, kind of office hours type of stuff. And between now and tomorrow's session, here's what I need you to do. I need you to do 3 things. 3 things. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to check that email for the Jobs AI link. So you're going to get that 50 free credit thing. It's really, really valuable. I want you to use that, play with it. So that's I want you to do that for you first and foremost. The second thing that I want you to do is I want you to think about where you are with this job challenge in your own life, in your own professional life right now. Are you passive or are you active? In fact, make sure that you're taking a look at the polls that we have here along the way. If you are active, do you feel like you've got a good process in place, a good system to keep track of what's happening? So kind of like logging, hey, this is where I first saw this job. It got reposted. I haven't seen it in a while. You kind of go back and reflect on that. Do you feel like your network is where it should be when it comes to some of these things? That's really, really important. Like how is your plan to attack these desired companies? Okay, so play with Jobs AI, number 1. Number 2 is, how does your plan look? How does it feel? Is a system, is a plan, the tools, resources, it's like everything in place when it comes to that, whether you're active or you're passive. Because when you're passive, you're only going to look up when opportunities come your way. And for a lot of people, they only do that through recruiters. And there are some absolutely top flight recruiting firms out there that I love. They're fantastic. But they only have so many clients. So if you're looking at that industry, right? If you're looking at the 2,000 biopharma companies, you're only going to see 3 or 4 at a time through an individual recruiter because they don't have contracts with everybody. So how do you create a great system so you are maximizing for opportunity exposure? That's a really, really, really big one. The third thing I want you to do is I want you to create a rating. You can do it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. How's your network? Like seriously, how is your network? If you are in a customer-facing role and you've got great relationships in whatever geography that you have, you're a medical science liaison, you've got great KOL contacts up and down the East Coast, of the US, you're a salesperson and you've got, LA County locked up. How many LinkedIn connections do you have? How many customers are you connected to? How many people did you go to college with, went through training with at different companies, work with currently, have been on different, functional work group teams? Are they in your network? If you're not, dig your well before you're thirsty. Get the networking going, because there's something about reducing friction in the process, whether it's finding a job or interviewing all the way through and getting the job, by having that social proof, because you're a known entity in a small industry and people know you and they're endorsing you along the way. What is the rating of your network? Take a look at it. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Okay, with that being said, I will see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern Tuesday. This is the 5-day Biopharma Job Challenge. We're underway. We're getting going. Tomorrow, we talk about what can we do to optimize, making it super easy and much more pleasant to find the ultimate role. We'll see you there.